Hello and welcome to Inside Politics here on Universal TV Africa. This is the show where we talk about everything concerning Nigeria, its politics, its policies, and development. Our conversations are to enrich the space so that Nigeria can work better for all of us. My name is Maduka Ojimadu. Today we'll be talking about youth in Nigerian politics. What is the role of the youth in Nigerian politics? How well are the young people doing in Nigerian politics? What are the prospects, and how can we enrich the space and allow entrance into it for the young people of Nigeria? To join me in having that conversation today, I have as my guest a young politician who has tested tested the waters of politics. Well, he may have not come out on top, but he has learned some experiences and he's going to share some of them with us today. So welcome, good luck, Arua, to our program today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, UTV Africa, for having me.
All right, let's talk politics,
to
the young
be here.
Nigerians in politics. You've tested the waters. You contested elections in the past. Though you weren't quite successful, but talk to us about it. How was the experience? How did you get into politics, and where are you on it now?
Okay, if I may understand, you asked three different questions.
Yes.
Can we take it one after the other?
Oh, please do.
One is, how did I get into politics? And to me, that question is, why politics?
Okay.
Okay, as a young person in Nigeria, I believe in change. I believe each and every one of us wouldn't have to do the normal Japa syndrome. There are just few of us who are willing to make sure things change. Not for us, but for our children. For those who are coming up.
For the future.
Yes. Those who will be able to tell our story and tell them the sacrifices we made to make sure Nigeria was better for them. That is the only reason why someone like me will be in politics, because I met it dirty. I was told it's dirty. And I'm here in the dirty environment, in the dirty system.
The murky system of politics.
Yes, the dirty system of politics, to see a way we can change the whole narrative. Because there's a saying that you have to be in-house to change the way things are arranged in the house.
Exactly. You have to start the change from inside.
Yes, you can't change from outside. You have to be in the system to be able to make the change. That is why politics. Then, if I may remember the second question, that should be,
How did it play out?
how did it play out? It's a total different thing when you hear about politics and when you venture into politics. It's not an easy experience, and it's not something I can all discuss in this program. I will maybe summarize it to say, sometimes as a candidate, the way you see the people is different from the way the people see themselves. People see themselves as people who are empowering you to go and enrich yourself. While you, as a politician and as a candidate, you are seeing yourself as someone who has sacrificed it all to help the people. Because you sacrifice your personal lifestyle, your freedom, the freedom of your family, and then security and what have you for the people. But that's not the way they see it. They see it as, you are coming to us to give you the access to go and enrich yourself. So they give you different kind of bills.
The same people you want to serve.
The same people you want to go and serve. They give all manner of bills. Even some of the traditional rulers will tell you, honorable, the procedures, your vision and mission sounds sweet. But what did you bring for us? So it tells different stories about politics. And it's something that a youth who want to come into wouldn't find so easy. I think I have to take my break there.
Okay, yes, because the last question I asked you, I guess it will be the very last question I'll ask you again here. But when you were talking about the political space, you used the word dirty. And generally, They use words like murky. I've seen people say, "Oh, it's a swamp. We'll go and drain the swamp and all that." And people would tell you, if you get into the swamp, you will also be marred in the same swamp you want to drain. So, what is this thing that is dirty about politics? Because the rest of us hear about it, when we think about politicians, we see these guys feasting on our common patrimony. But what exactly is the dirty thing in politics that sometimes they say, politics is the dirty game, or it's not for someone as gentle as you? What is that dirty thing you are talking about?
Okay, what do I mean by the word dirty? I believe anything we do have rules and regulations, has guidelines and policies. And then when you go extreme, above or below the guidelines, it becomes dirty.
When one becomes unethical.
Yes, it becomes dirty automatically. If we have an electoral act that guide politicians or candidates in electoral process, and the politician goes beyond the guidelines, the ethic, it becomes dirty. And most times, the law now makes it so obvious that you can do anything and still move away with it. That is the dirtiness of politics. Not that the system in general is dirty, but some few agents in the process add up dirty activities and then dirty lifestyle to make sure they get into power.
Okay. All right. So you in your opening speech, actually, you actually pointed out two key things. One is that politicking is expensive in Nigeria. It doesn't matter your manifesto, how articulate and determined you are to implement them. The people still want you to induce them, and so you have to spend unnecessary funds. And then you've talked about the dirtiness of politics. Are these some of the impediments in the way of Nigerian youth in getting into politics? If yes, what other impediments are there which are making it difficult for the young people to enter into politics?
Thank you very much for this question. Before I answer that question, I'll have to throw us a little backwards.
Okay.
I can remember in 2019, that was the first time I contested for state assembly position.
Oh, 2019.
2019.
4 years ago.
Yes, I contested.
5 years ago.
Yes, with Accord Party. Now, that was exactly few months after the Not Too Young to Run bill was passed.
Signed, yeah.
Yes. Now, one of the challenges we had then was difficulty in finance.
Okay.
Difficulty in being able to prove to the people that you have the capacity. I see that bill as an incomplete bill.
Okay.
Because you can't sign Not Too Young to Run, and you wouldn't sign Too Old to Run.
Okay. So you want
you can't bring young people
from the system.
You can't bring young people into a system and you don't have a benchmark of where they have to grow to, and then they can't assess
so
the system.
If there's a mark for coming in, there should be a mark for exiting.
For every job you're applying for, there's always
point.
a retirement age.
Either in the number of years you've served,
yes,
or
and this
age.
is public service, for crying out loud. Someone above 60 shouldn't be leading in any public office.
Okay.
Be you a senator, be you rep member, minister, president, governor, above 60.
But is that not exclusionist? I agree a lot that young people.
They've already excluded. They should have made the position free for everybody. Even a 5-year-old child can contest. You're already excluding the younger ones. So why can't you exclude the older ones?
There are politicians, human beings generally, who are above 60 that are still sound and can serve for another 10, even 20 years.
If you are sound above 60, you can act as a councillor.
Okay, or work in the background.
You can work in the background.
Okay.
You can be there as a political leader to guide the younger people who are in the system to act effectively. You shouldn't be at the head. We don't encourage the youth to be in politics. We just write it on paper. Because if you check the system of governance, you still see that those that have ruled us 40 years ago are still in power. If they are not in power directly, they are still indirectly in power, which doesn't give room for the younger persons to join the system. Now, secondly, you don't give opportunities to people who you did not equip.
Okay.
If you're offered an appointment today, you are given manuscripts. You are being trained on what you are going to do. Let's assume that's your first time. And then you are being equipped. In some jobs, they give you a vehicle for mobility, they give you housing, and then they offer you different things. Now you are signing Not Too Young to Run bill into power, enabling young people at 25 years old to contest for position. And you're making the nomination form for that same position to be 10 million naira. It doesn't make sense.
How many 25-year-olds have that kind of money
that is
to
the
throw
point.
around?
That's the point. And the same government just signed recently that if you're not up to 18, you can't write WAEC. So how does it tally? Someone who's writing WAEC at 18 is probably going to graduate at 24, 25, depending on the school you attended, and then the number of strike.
If ASU doesn't
the
strike.
number of strike you pass through. So how can you be able to contest for a political position as a graduate, as a fresh graduate? They are not giving the Nigerian youth the good background, the good apparatus to be able to...
And the opportunity.
And the opportunity to lead.
Okay, so now it looks like the young Nigerians, from my perception, are content with being thugs or some kind of other, for lack of a better word, enforcers for politicians than taking the front seat. The Not Too Young to Run law was signed in 2019, like you rightly pointed out. So far, I have not seen that influx of young people into our politics. I've hardly seen many 25, 26-year-olds, many under 30s actually, in the state assemblies. Aside from these challenges that you've mentioned, the perception also is that the young people are not ambitious.
Okay, I do not agree with that. I'm not party to those who talk against young people because I'm young. I acquired the little I could before 30.
You're a very rich man.
The little I could. I acquired them all before 30.
Okay.
So, and I see some inabilities fellow young people have.
Okay.
Now, that draws us back to why I joined politics.
Okay.
I have done my research, and I found out most Nigerian politicians make their followers so poor.
Weaponizing poverty.
Yes, so poor, so they can use peanuts to influence them do what they are not supposed to do. Poverty changes value system automatically. Poverty can make you have more value for money than life. If our youths are well equipped, the greater number of youth won't be fighting for stomach infrastructure. They will start being reasonable on what they can do with their life and what the future holds for them. But in a situation where youth have been made so poor, so whatever they get goes. So it's not the ability of youth not being ready. Are we offered the quality support and empowerment? Do Nigerian youth have the quality empowerment they need? We have neighboring countries, we have other English countries that Nigerians emulate from. Most of those countries have better opportunities for their youth than Nigeria. So, and what are the Nigerian governments doing to make sure youth have better opportunities? So we have less thugs in the system.
All right. Okay, we're still talking youth in politics in Nigeria. Our guest is Goodluck Aroa. He is a politician who has tested the field, and he's talking to us as a young man, giving us the perspectives of youth in Nigeria's politics. We'll be going for this break, and we'll be back shortly.
In a world where challenges persist, we seek solutions for a sustainable tomorrow. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) guides our path towards climate action to social justice as we build resilient communities. From embracing circular economies to reducing carbon footprint to promoting eco-innovation to empowering marginalized communities and ensuring inclusive governance and human rights. Through integrated approaches, we are fostering transformative change. I am Ife Onyekwere. Join me on the Development Report as we explore the intersection of sustainability on Universal Television Africa towards sustainable development.
Welcome back. You're still watching Inside Politics here on Universal TV Africa. My name is Maduka Ujumadu. I'm your anchor, and our guest today is Honorable Goodluck Aroa. He's a young politician, and we're talking about youth in politics today. Now, Goodluck, let's look at the effects of the Not Too Young to Rule bill. How many young people do you think were able to come into the political system through the magnanimity of the Not Too Young to Run bill, which lowered the age for qualification to contest for so many offices?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. There've been a good number of young persons who emerged public offices. At least, I'll take for instance the past governor of Kogi State,
Okay.
who I always say disappointed most
Yeah,
of us.
I was going to come to that. Good thing you mentioned him, because the other thing, which probably you could answer later, is that the young people who have made it there have not also covered themselves in roses. I could mention all the names, but I would love you to expose your fellow young people. Yeah. But go ahead, talk to us about those who have entered the office.
The 9th Assembly of the National Assembly and even the 10th Assembly that we are currently have more number of young persons, unlike the previous system, where we have elderly people in the parliament, unlike the younger ones. So the effects have been is visible. We have more number of young persons, but we are not yet there.
Like, it could be better.
Yes, it can get better tomorrow, because when you still count the number of young persons we have in the parliament, we are still counting of 40, 45, 50. We are yet to get 30, 35. And in the Nigerian constitution, a youth is considered to be from 25 to 35.
Okay.
So long as we've not gotten 35 in most public offices, we are not yet there. But I believe we'll get there someday.
All right, so back to the issue you raised, which I want to take your point. It is the performance of those young people. Can you pinpoint some of those young people, either in executive positions or legislative positions, that have distinguished themselves and justify the need for the Not Too Young to Run bill? Or should I say Not Too Young to Run law?
Okay, when Not Too Young to Run law was signed into power, there are a few members, both in the State Assembly and the National Assembly, that raised their consent on that bill. But you know one thing about politics, most times a politician sees things from two angles.
Okay.
How it affects him and how it affects his constituents. They don't usually see it in the general perspective. That's why most people say politicians are selfish. But I can't consider your constituents first before mine. So most times when bills are brought to them, they first of all synchronize those bills. Those of them in the parliament, they first of all synchronize those bills to make sure it meets to the demand of their
people.
constituents first. So not you want to run bill as at 2018 when it was brought to the National Assembly was more as a bill that didn't meet up to the basic need of the constituents. That was the way it was interpreted. But glory be to God, some members signed it. Even elderly members had their consent on the bill to make sure it has been passed. And since then, there have been some other amendments that have been proposed
to the bill,
to the
law,
to that bill, for amendment on that bill, which we hope by tomorrow. One of the amendments we have proposed is the old to run bill to be added as an amendment to the not too young to run bill, and some other amendment proposals we've also added to that bill. We pray very soon it's passed so that we can have a transparent system of governance. Why do I use that word transparent? Younger people in our local system have this accountability nature because of fear and respect. But older persons give accounts nonchalantly because they are old.
And our society respects age.
Yes, society respects age. But if you're a younger person, you consider the fact that you have a future.
Yeah.
And you try to be transparent enough so your future can speak for it. Now that draws back to the few youths who have been in public offices and messed themselves up. They didn't actually mess the youth up.
So you agree?
Yes. They didn't mess the youth up.
It was themselves.
It was themselves. At least I mentioned the name that I may not even be mentioned again, and you know his stories today.
Yeah, the Kogi governor.
That is
former Kogi governor.
So it's yourself, it's your future, your political future, your profile that you're messing up, not really the youth. So if you're proposing to emerge governance as a youth and your interest is to go there and eat public funds, it's still you. And the disadvantage is that you are young. So that bad footprint will still follow you for a longer period of time. That's all I can say about that.
That's fine. At least you, after or everything, you still broach the issue. Now, some people have said it is better people get a whole lot more mature in terms of age and experience at work and everything else they do, so that they're able to more or less stand on their own. And people say with time, especially if we put the cutoff point, like you said, more and more godfathers, older politicians might actually want to pick on, or should I say, prey on the young politicians to put them in, become godfathers, and run them like puppets. Is that something we should be afraid of, or probably the youth ultimately have a mind of their own and can't be used that way?
I disagree from one perspective of one should be older to get more experience. They are
more mature.
Yeah, there are 50 years old men who thinks 20. It should be in the charisma. It should be in the image. If the young and the old candidates are to hold public debates, what are the contents they have? Where have they been to? Because a matured man who has been in the village all his life cannot be compared to a youth who have traveled to 20 countries. Their experience and expertise is totally different. So I disagree from anyone who say someone should get older and then get more experience before contesting for a political position. It should be what you have.
Give what you have at that point.
What you have to offer. What are your visions? What are your missions? What are the portfolios you are bringing into the system? Because even as we speak, all the governors that were elected in 2023, there are few governors who we can pick and say this 1, 2, 3, 4 have raised the standard of governance in their states. Why there are majority of them who haven't been able to prove to us that the manifesto they campaigned with is what they are practicing
at the moment.
So it's an individual difference.
Okay.
It's a personal thing, and it's what you have upstairs and not the age.
Okay. All right. So before we wrap up, if there's a young Nigerian watching you out there who wants to become active politically, we're talking partisan politics now, what advice would you offer them, and what is it you want them to empower themselves with to bring to the table of political governance in Nigeria?
Okay, to my fellow young Nigerians, I have these few words for you. Everybody out there that wants to see you being elected need to be able to pinpoint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons why it should be you. Age is always not a factor. You should be able to have things you have done, backgrounds, track records that you can campaign with. Because it's you first before the party. It's you first before the manifesto you are bringing. You can bring a very sweet manifesto, but if you don't have a good profile, it kills your manifesto. So I will always advise we build a good track record. Don't say I'm contesting next year. First of all, go and do your feasibility study. Build a good background. Have 1 or 2 things. It might not be project, but have 1 or 2 advocacy that you can always remind the people when campaigning. Because there is no politician that cannot say, I did this in so time. So don't make age the baseline. Have what you can use to campaign for. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Goodluck Arora, for your inputs today. It's been quite illuminating. I hope to bring you back to talk more about the advancement of young people's participation in politics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
And that's the much we can take today on Inside Politics on Universal TV Africa. Don't forget you can find us on universalafrica.com. Till we come your way again, do have a very beautiful day.